I would like to acknowledge people that are going to be participating in the ceremonies today. Honored guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel John Burrett, retired U.S. Air Force. Our town administrator, Michael Gilberto. Our select board members, the ones that are here, but I'm going to acknowledge all of them for their support of our services, of our events. Chairperson Catherine Minipelli, Vice Chair Leanne Gonzalez, Rich Walnut, Steve O'Leary, and Vincenzo Studo. I would like to also acknowledge Reverend Dr. Rick Hughes of the Union Congregational Church, Jeff Ewell of the North Reading Town Committee, Republican Committee, our VFW Post 10874, Arthur Cole, Commander, Rich Stratton, Ed McCarthy, Ray Nye, Ken Ravioli, and Roy Walters. The members of our North Reading Memorial Committee, Gordon Hall, John Watson, who is ringing our bell, Richard Stratton, Jim McLaughlin, Joe Vino, Lyman Fancy, and Ed McCarthy. Our North Reading Veterans Events Committee, Chair Andrew Lee, Arthur Cole, Richard Stratton, Ken Ravioli, Michelle Reed, Dan Mahoney, and Debbie Aldridge. The North Reading Minute Militia. You can clap. I don't have all the names, so they keep changing them up. My apologies. North Reading Police Honor Guard and Chief Michael Murphy. North Reading's High School Band and Ben Owens, the director. The drum major is Wes Fisher. Your assistant drum major is Angelina Palazzolo. Your buglers are going to be Harley Duffley and Shane Hansen. I would like to acknowledge the North Reading Boy Scouts and Cub Scout troops, or PACs, and the North Reading Girl Scout troops. The North Reading Venture Crew, and our Patriot Riders, all in the back. Each year on the 11th month, the 11th day at the 11th hour, we gather and honor the men and women who have chosen the path to defend the borders of these United States. This is a historic day and time of remembrance for those valiant Americans who continue to serve today, and for those who have served with courage and conviction throughout the generations. The bells were tolled today 21 times in honor of the 100th year anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. For 100 years, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier has served as the heart of Arlington's National Cemetery, as a sacred memorial site, and the grave of 3 unknown American service members. The tomb connects visitors with the legacy of the United States Armed Forces throughout the nation's history. It stands as a people's memorial that inspires reflection on service, valor, sacrifice, and mourning. Since November 11, 1921, the tomb has provided a final resting place for one of America's unidentified World War I service members. Those unknown warriors from later wars were added in 1958 and 1984. If nobody has, or you ever have the opportunity to go to Arlington, there's a field trip right there and an amazing family vacation. I'd like to call up Reverend Dr. Rick Hughes, of the Union Congregational Church to deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. God of this nation and all the nations of the world, as we gather beneath the stars and stripes of our flag, we give you thanks for our veterans who answered the call to defend the freedom and protect the liberties that we all cherish. On our behalf, many entered into danger, endured separation from those they loved, and experienced hardships in times of war and peace. Let your spirit of healing also be upon our veterans who are still living with and recovering from the wounds they sustained on the field of battle. Finally, Lord, give to us, your people, grateful hearts, that we may truly honor the sacrifices of our veterans by answering the call to be a nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Please be seated. Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Please rise for the presentation of our nation's colors, followed by the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, who will lead us in the pledge, and then the band will be playing our national anthem. Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please remain standing as our honor guard retires our colors.
Hail! Upward! Hark!
Please be seated. I would like now to call up Jeff Yu from the North Reading Republican Committee. Each year, the Republican Committee chooses the best essay on what the flag means to me. Jeff is going to recite the winning essay.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning. Thank you, veterans. Is that better? Okay. Thank you, veterans, for all that you have done for us. Each year, as mentioned, we have a scholarship that we give to award to an essayist for their view on what the American flag means to them. And his winner this year was Mark Dante Travis Posey for graduation of 2020. Through 240 years of self-rule in the United States, there is one thing that has always been a symbol of this democratically found nation, the flag. 13 alternating red and white stripes commemorate the original colonies. The people of these 13 colonies held this idea of creating a nation in which are granted, in which power is granted to the public. Rather than having a single individual on a throne, implementing these desires meant risking their own lives to fight for the independence against an expansive imperial force. However, as seen in the United States today, hope has always been embedded into the soil that stretches from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Through generations of families, this single nation has remained a beacon of opportunity and liberty, and it is our flag that represents this American dream. No matter where in the United States a person travels, the flag is abundantly displayed, and the stars and stripes wave, welcoming each person, no matter age, gender, race, religion, or culture, to seize the opportunities. Come join this great country and take advantage of the opportunities. A blue rectangle in the upper left corner that is filled with stars indicate the number of United States that lie under one national government. It is frustrating to hear that people may stray in the belief that we are united, that we are Americans, that we are connected, because each one of us enjoy the freedom and opportunities that this country provides to all of its inhabitants. Even in the darkest days, the flag continues to fly, waving off the negativity and embracing hope. We are all united, that we want a better world, that we want to be protected of our constitutional rights, and that we want to wave off hatred and welcome peace. Each individual star connects the ability to pursue own goals, own individuality. My personal goal may be different than others, but in the United States, differences are respected. When standing for the national anthem on the high school track during soccer games, I can see the American flag at the turf, the batch alley, the post office, the common, the police and fire stations, and the Flint Memorial Library. Each flag waves tall and proudly, symbolizing that there are many opportunities, not just one. I reflect on and think of where the flag is positioned and the impact on me and society. The flag next to the turf represents the education I received and the numerous games played against opponents on the field. But we played respecting the other teams and competition. While I did not attend the Batchelder School, that flag symbolizes my upbringing in a family where my parents constantly motivated me to work my hardest and appreciate how fortunate I am to live in a community such as North Reading, where education is prioritized in giving students the means to strive. The post office flag represents the democracy of our government freedom. The library's flag symbolizes the books and research of the history of the laws of this great country. Across the street, the flags waving at the police station and fire stations represent the safety and security of our town and our nation. Finally, the flag on the common signifies unity. It is at the center of the rest of the flags in this small area. This small patch of land with multiple flags close by represents our country as a whole. Hope, freedom, safety, strength. Signed, Mark Dante Tramatozzi, North Reading High School 2020 graduate.
Thank you, Jeff. We are now going to have the reading of the Governor's Proclamation by Richard Stratton of the VFW, Veterans Memorial Committee, and Veterans Event Committee, as well as the Minute Militia.
Thank you, Susan. Good morning, everyone. This is a great morning to be here, and I'm proud and honored to be able to read the Governor's Proclamation tonight. I'm a combat veteran of Vietnam, and as Susan said, I'm also captain of Command. I'm also representing the Revolutionary War veterans who can't be here today. A proclamation. Whereas since the Commonwealth colonial days, thousands of men and women have served our country in defense of freedom and liberty. And whereas on November 11, 1918, the armistice was signed in the forest of Campania by the Allied nations in Germany, ending World War I. The war to end all wars after 4 years of conflict. And whereas since that day, every November, people from around the nation have gathered to honor our veterans, and whereas there are approximately 388,000 veterans living in Massachusetts, and whereas today we are reminded of the great sacrifices and contributions our veterans have made to our country, and whereas we honor and salute those who served our country throughout the generations with honor, patriotism, and courage, and whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who served their country, so that their dedication and sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. And whereas in November 2021, the world will commemorate the 103rd anniversary of the armistice that ended the fighting in World War I at 11 o'clock a.m. November 11, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim November 11, 2021 to be Veterans Day. And I urge all citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston this 11th day of November in the year of 2021, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 245th. Signed by His Excellency Charles D. Baker.
Thank you, Rich. This year, it was unanimously voted through the Select Board that we proclaim North Reading for the whole entire month to honor our military, our veterans and our warriors and our military families. Military families play a huge part in this. And this 20-year war that's over, we hope, And actually, in my opinion, it's a 30-year war because it actually started in 91 with Desert Storm. So we have a reading of a proclamation for the town, and I would like to call up Select Board Member Richard Wallner to read the town proclamation.
Thank you, Susan. Whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we take time to reflect with pride and gratitude for America's men and women in uniform who have selflessly sacrificed and committed their lives to answer the call to defend our nation. Whereas it is due to generations of this highest caliber of individuals that place them in a category of their own known as warriors. Only those who have the courage, strength, and conviction accept with honor and pride to answer the call of duty to protect these United States, which we proudly call home. Whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we give recognition and respect to the Blue Star families of our veterans and warriors for the sacrifices they have made. Their continued support is imperative to the continued success of their warrior struggle to overcome the adversities of war mentally and physically. And whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we honor our Gold Star families who have sacrificed the ultimate, keep them in your prayers. They will forever carry the legacy of their loved one through memories. Whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we take time to reflect on a 20-year war that has affected so many warriors, veterans, and their families. Many have lost precious time watching their children grow. Children had to suffer through years of not having their father or mother around due to overseas tours, resulting in many children being raised in single-parent households due to multiple deployments, while other family units suffer breakups after years of continuous separation. Whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we continue to be cognizant of the mental and physical injuries our warriors and veterans continue to struggle with daily. We as a nation owe them a debt of gratitude, and we must continue to provide services to help them overcome the diversities of war they endure. Whereas during the month of November and Veterans Day, we renew our commitment to our children through guidance and education, the importance of honor, respect, and appreciation for the valor and sacrifice our veterans and warriors have made. We must continue to educate them on the history of this great nation. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of North Reading, do hereby proclaim November to be Veterans and Military Families Appreciation Month and observe Veterans Day on the 11th day of November 2021 with appropriate ceremony and prayer in honor of our veterans and warriors whose steadfast desire through valor and sacrifice preserve the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy. We shall take the time to reflect and remember our heroes and their families for all the sacrifices they have made in order to keep our homeland safe. We encourage you to continue to display the American flag with pride in your homes, offices, and town buildings. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I would like to, our band will now play Military Escort. Military Escort, under the direction of Ben Owens and drum major, Wes Fisher, and assistant drum major, Angelina Palazzolo. Before I announce our honored guest speaker, I just wanted to also acknowledge a few other people here. Maureen Doherty, who's running around taking pictures from the North Reading transcript. And Jason over there from NORCAM, thanks. And if anybody's taking any pictures and you want to send them over to our website, we can add them to our list of pictures of each year that we're keeping categories for Veterans Day. I'd also like to acknowledge the Youth Services team. Where are they all? Setting up, helping me with all the setup out here. Thanks, guys. Today's honored guest speaker, it is a pleasure for me to introduce Lieutenant Colonel John Burrett, U.S. Air Force retired. Lieutenant Colonel Burrett retired from active duty in 2012 after a distinguished 22-year career. His numerous tours of duty included commander of 650th Electronic Systems Squadron at Hanscom Air Force Base, test manager, airborne laser program at Edwards Air Force Base, California, and Deputy Information Dominance Division at the Pentagon, as well as Scientific Exchange Office in Lille, France. He is Senior Manager at Mainsail Consulting Group. His awards include Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Air Force Commendation Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, and Electronic Systems Center Lieutenant General John O'Neill Award winner. He has been married 25 lovely years to his lovely bride, Michelle, and they have 3 sons, Sam, Max, and Nolan. Please give a warm welcome to our honored guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel John Burrett.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the invitation, Susan. Always a pleasure to work with you. I have a shout out first to Connie. Connie, can you wave? Connie and the Girl Scouts are handing out really nice cards to the veterans today, so a big hand for the Girl Scouts for doing that. I would also like to thank Susan Magner for bringing this solemn ceremony back to North Reading after the long darkness of shutdowns and cancellations. And a huge thanks to all the youngsters in the audience today, the Hornets Marching Band, and the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, and Girl Scouts for taking the time to join us in honoring veterans past and present. Please, a very big warm round of applause. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. I'll bet some of you in the audience memorized this preamble as children watching Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday morning. I know my wife Michelle and I did. The preamble to the Constitution is, in my opinion, the perfect encapsulation of this day and of what makes the United States of America such a blessed and unique country. No other country before or since has enshrined in law so many basic freedoms, to include freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, the right to peacefully assemble, freedom to worship, and the right of equal justice under the law. Through the centuries since our founding, tens of millions of American servicemen and women have given their time and talent by taking an oath to protect and defend our beloved Constitution of the United States. In the course of our brief history, millions of American soldiers have borne lifelong emotional and physical wounds. Thousands have survived deplorable prisoner of war conditions year after year, and over 1.4 million Americans have given the ultimate measure of their lives. In the 20th century alone, our American military proved decisive in defeating or at least containing fascist regimes, including the National Socialist Party in Germany, the so-called Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and the Communist Chinese Party on the Korean Peninsula and in Vietnam. Our military has freed well over 100 million souls from the scourge of tyrants and despots all over the world. And yet, tyranny is still on the march at home and around the world, as evidenced by massive freedom marches in Australia, Japan, Denmark, Italy, South Korea, the United Kingdom, the United States, and many other countries. Just this past Sunday, many of you probably aren't aware, thousands of citizens gathered and rallied in the Common in Boston to march for freedom and against the pervasive corruption that has infected our political system. An evil cabal of elite oligarchs is moving to extinguish the torch of freedom and liberty in the USA and other free countries. And Americans are once again called on to defend freedom. In this year of the 20th anniversary of the attacks of September 11th and the 20th anniversary of the start of the global war on terror, we especially honor the over 7,000 U.S. troops who have died in combat since 2011, but also the over 30,000 suicides of military members since 2001. But we also gather to honor the living. Today, there are an estimated 19 million living U.S. veterans. By our gathering today, we offer a special debt and a prayer of gratitude to those who put themselves in harm's way on foreign shores in foreign wars, and to the National Guard and Reserves who also serve in our homeland in times of emergency. A simple thank you to a veteran suffering physical and or mental wounds can be a ray of sunshine to a wounded warrior. Ronald Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed down to them, for them to do the same." He also said, "If we lose freedom here, there is no place to escape to." Our veterans fought and continue to fight for our rights and freedoms. Many basic freedoms have been put on hold over the past several years. Freedom of speech, censorship, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to worship, and the right to make decisions about our health care. So, please, let not our gratitude towards our veterans end with today's ceremony, but let us honor them every day through our words and actions to defend the freedoms we hold dear, so that they can be passed down to generations to come, just as they were defended for by many brave men and women of our armed forces. Thank you, and may God save the United States of America.
Thank you, Colonel. We will now hear from the North Reading High School Band again performing American March Classics by Steve Burnett. Please stand for the placing of the wreaths by the Minute and Militia, followed by a moment of silence. And if you could place your hand over your heart while the taps are played. Please remain seated for a moment of silence. Please place your hand over your hearts for the taps.
Freeze on! March!
My apologies for firing at all and followed by taps.
March! March!
Please be seated. Before we conclude today's ceremony, on behalf of the North Reading Veterans Empowerment, the Veterans Memorial Committee, and the Veterans Events Committee, as well as the Minuteman and Militia, and myself, we would like to thank all of you for taking time today out of your busy schedules to join us in honoring those who have served and remembering those who continue to keep us safe. God bless our veterans, our warriors, and their families. I also want to acknowledge as well that if you go on, on the website, we have some businesses that are partaking in the month-long discounts for for veterans and families throughout North Reading. So if you go on the website, you'll find the list there, as well as there are other places like Dunkin' Donuts and that are offering free donuts, and McDonald's is offering a free little luncheon and things like that. So I do have a listing up on the website. I would like to once again call up Reverend Dr. Rick Hughes for the benediction.
Now may the grace of our Lord, the wisdom of the Spirit that is calling to us even now, to be that more perfect union, abide with you this day and all the days that yet to be. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Please join us in singing God Bless America, performed by the North Reading High School Band. This concludes today's ceremony. I thank you all for joining us. A special thank you to all our supporters, our participants, and an honorable tribute to have been served and continue to serve the great nation. I thank you all for coming. Unfortunately, this year I'm not having refreshments for the obvious, so let's hope and pray next year that it'll get a little better. Enjoy your day. It's a gorgeous day, folks.